The finalists for the men's vault competition and the top performer in qualification, the gentleman from the Dominican Republic, Aldris Reyes, who will go third in the order, a 14.7 qualification score. He really did have a good campaign. There are others, though, who could very strongly mount a challenge. It will be interesting to see what we get from gymnasts whose execution was a little lower in qualification with quite compelling difficulty. An eye should be kept on the first gentleman, for example, Rommel Robinson-Bailey of Great Britain, who does have a 5.6 difficulty vault. Looking across the board at the difficulty tariffs, well, it is that man, Aldris Reyes, who's got the highest difficulty, 5.6 vaults produced in qualification. Dragulescu was his opening vault, then a yo. So if he hits his vaults, then difficulty-wise, it should be very hard to contend with him. Robinson-Bailey, a 5.6 and a 4.8 in the preliminary stage. We're going to see in the first half the 7th, 3rd, 1st and 8th strongest in qualification. In the second half, the 5th, 2nd, 4th and 6th. One to keep an eye on later on will be Jorna Rayman, the junior European champion on vault from 2022 and the European Youth Olympic Festival champion. Kazakhstan's Roman Maminov. He was the 3rd best performer in qualification. And there will be a lot of folk wondering if it's possible that Demdendorj Entushan, who will be the penultimate gymnast to go, will get onto the podium. The young Mongolian was the 4th best performer in the preliminary round. But he is the man to beat based on qualification, based on pedigree. The 28-year-old who is the reigning 2-time Pan American Games champion and the reigning 2-time Central American and Caribbean Games champion. And the gymnasts of the world have all gathered in Koper, in the Istrian region of the country, the southwest of Slovenia, very close to the Italian border, just a few miles or so, and about 10 miles from the hugely famous city of Trieste. So it is an officially bilingual city, Koper. Slovene and Italian, the languages. What a nice way to begin with this young man from Birmingham, Rommel Robinson-Bailey of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Silver medalist at the National Championships behind Jake Jarman. That's a really interesting beginning. Dragulescu successful from Rommel Robinson-Bailey. Now that is the vault that suddenly makes him a realistic contender for a place on the podium, because his execution score in qualifying, 8.55 for a 13.85 with 0.3 penalty, and he's just about managed to stay in bounds there. This should be a very different number from qualifying and more like the 14.55 that he scored at the National Championships. Gosh, wasn't that a good beginning? He trains at the renowned City of Birmingham club. Well, I said it might be like the 14.55 from the British Championships, 14.5. Just 500th shy of his score at the British. And that has changed the dynamic of the whole competition, because he was the 7th best qualifier. Second vault coming up. Well performed second vault, simpler vault. I believe that's the vault named after Lo Yun, the 1984 and 1988 Olympic champion. So he has made most impressive start to this vault final. Decent amplitude, not a bad twisting position. Form is developing, his landing clarity is developing. And 14.25 is his average score. That is up by about a third of a mark from qualification. Now to Roman Maminov of Kazakhstan. Third best in qualification, 14.125. Oh, sits down the roche. I'm sure many of you know that is the 5.2 difficulty vault that was demonstrated with the additional half turn by Ramel Robinson-Bailey to make it the Dragulescu. Now, this will unfortunately be the inverse story from what we saw from Robinson-Bailey, because this was beautifully performed in qualification by a 19-year-old Maminov whose foot just slips as he comes into land. He had a 9.3 for execution in the preliminary round. And this will be a good mark or so down from that. 13.25, so he is 1.25 down from qualification. It's unfortunate for the teenager from one of the oldest parts of Kazakhstan, a region founded in the 9th century. Now, second vault for him. Now, that was much more tidy. Much better gymnastically. That is the Koper vault, named after the world champion from 1983, Artur Koper. More central, just a small adjustment. Form in the air is quite secure. Keeps the body quite straight as well. Execution-wise, this should do well. So the full twisting Kasamatsu, 13.85 for a 13.55 average score. So he unfortunately is down by about 0.6 from qualifying. Now to Aldris Nin Reyes of the Dominican Republic. Top performer in qualification, 5.6 difficulty vaults, the reigning two-time Pan American Games vault champion and two-time Central American and Caribbean Games vault champion. He's the one that will tell us if he's on course to win it. Oh, I tell you what, the amplitude. Oh, goodness me, on that Dragulescu. No wonder he scuttles backwards, because he was practically in the rafters of the building. And as a result, it lacked the control. It will be interesting to compare that execution-wise to the score we've just seen of 14.5 from Robinson-Bailey for the same vault. Look at the height he gets, and as he comes out, of the tuck position. He's very piked as he lands, body quite bent over at the midsection, and that leads to one of those landings where really the ground meets the gymnast rather than vice versa. He's also quite splayed in his tuck position, the legs really to the side of the body rather than tightly into the body. 13.7 is the score, and as a result he's 1.2 down from qualifying. This gentleman, by the way, the first man to qualify for the Olympic Games in gymnastics for his country. And the World Cups are hugely important to him. It was in 2017 that he bought his mum a house with his prize money from his World Cup success. And it's a very nice second vault, very nice. Well, he's got some things to work on with the first vault ahead of the Olympiad. The second vault, the Yo Hong Chol vault. His connection on the table is a little close for comfort, one might suggest. But it is still that busy and dramatic 5.6 difficulty vault, named after the silver medalist from Atlanta '96, father of Yo So-jong, the bronze medalist in Tokyo. 14.3's just about done it. 500ths ahead of Ramel Robinson-Bailey, and that's the difficulty factor for Aldris Ninreyes coming into play. He was so high on difficulty compared to the young British gymnast. Ye Chung of Chinese Taipei, 22, 8th best performer in qualification. He's got quite a difficulty discrepancy. 5.2 first vault, 4.0 second. Both of them were performed really delightfully in qualifying. That was his 1.5 twist in Kasamatsu to open his account. Poor young man had a really bad spell of health in the build-up to the Olympic Games. He was the first gymnast from Chinese Taipei in men's competition to compete at the Youth Olympic Games, so very much somebody aspiring to go the whole distance and compete at the Senior Olympics. Took him a while to find, in his words, gymnastics normal again after some muscle weakness. 14.55, very nice first vault. He's certainly on course, but this is the simpler vault. But he sticks it, and that's important. If you are going to do something that has around about a 4.0 difficulty, then it's got to be sharp as anything, and it was. 9.35 execution in qualification. The joint second highest execution score of any vault. And that was well performed. Full twisting Tsukahara vault. It is the lowest difficulty vault that we're going to see in this final. Everyone else will be carrying at least a 4.8. 14.05 is his average. 13.55 for the second vault, virtually nothing to deduct. So it means that it's Aldris Ninreyes ahead of Ramel Robinson-Bailey, ahead of Ye Chung at the halfway stage. Hope you're enjoying all of the action so far from Koper. Thank you very much for your company for this penultimate FIG World Challenge Cup of Artistic Gymnastics in the 2024 season. Just at Szombathely that remains in Hungary. And you're looking there at Jorna Rayman, the junior champion of Europe in Munich in 2022. Very good young athlete who's working on getting his 5.2 difficulty vaults to 5.6 difficulty vaults. There's no doubt that he has got the capacity to be a contender for European Championship honours. And this is a gymnast who's got the capacity to contend for a place on the podium. But he will be attempting to do it, Demden Dorje-Tushan, with lower difficulty vaulting than many of his peers. When he gets the execution right, which he did in qualification, it's thoroughly competitive. So just to summarise what we have to come, we're expecting 3 of the 4 remaining gymnasts to do 2 5.2 degree of difficulty vaults. And then we are anticipating Demden Dorje to do 2 4.8 vaults. .075, 5th best in qualification, Leo Saladino. Now that's interesting. He is indicating on the board number 132, which is a Lopez vault, so that is a double twisting Kasamatsu. Oh, well, certainly that was the intention, but he just wasn't round. Wasn't tidy from Saladino. Let's have a look at it again. Yes, he really hasn't got the body around with conviction. It'll be interesting to see whether he gets the full Lopez value. He may well have just about got enough of that second full twist in. He did. It's 13.1. It's way down from qualification, but it just it didn't look secure, did it at all? It looked potentially quite a risky vault. Now second for Saladino. And he's actually kept things really simple as a result. And that is a wise move from Leo Saladino, because he did have intentions to do a Roche as his second vault. Obviously that's not at all what he attempted. More like a 4.0 difficulty vault, rather than the 5.2 that was the plan. And that probably because he just wasn't comfortable after the first one, so only the full twisting Tsukahara. Saladino really not in contention now, but at least as the score of 13.075 comes in, he's by the looks of things okay after that first vault. One worries about the knee when a gymnast is not fully around, trying to convert a Kasamatsu 1.5 to a double to the Lopez vault. This is Jorna Rayman of Finland, 19, from the wonderful city of Tampere, north of Helsinki. Beautiful place. This time of year it will be buzzing with nightlife and music festivals and fine outdoor dining. It really is a splendid place to be. Well, he looked like he had time to spare. Wasn't that a lovely roche from Jonne Raymond? And an encouraging roche, because I mentioned earlier that his long-term goal, as he's only 19, will be to get those 5.2s to 5.6s and to put, in this case, the half twist in to make it a Dragulescu. He certainly has got the time of flight to do that. Well judged from the junior champion of Europe in 2022. Pretty well spot on there. This may be a little up from qualification, where he scored 14.2. It's made him a genuine contender for a place on the podium. Yeah, 14.35. I had a feeling it might be a touch stronger. He's gained a 10.5. Now, can he keep it going? Kasamatsu 1.5 is the indicated vault. And that's what we get from him with the hop out of bounds. And he slightly winces, wondering if that is going to be sufficient. Good performance, though, from Jonne Raymond. Let's look back at it again. Just got a little drift sideways. Both feet out. But he's going in the right direction, this young man. Nice straight body position as he gets into the apex of the vault. That's the clearest indicator of the sideways drift. 14.15, the average. That 0.3 of penalty marks for both feet going out of bounds is what has kept him away from the top spot, because he would have gone into the lead. So it is Aldris Nin of Dominican Republic who leads, then Ramel Robinson-Bailey of Great Britain second, then Jonne Raymond of Finland third. We go to Demdendorje Tushan of Mongolia, the fourth best qualifier. 21-year-old from Ulaanbaatar. How's the first going to be? It's quite tidy, small landing adjustment, but well executed. It's going to need to be in order for him to be a clear contender. He will be able to give away very few tenths, Demdendorje, because the Kopian vault is a simpler vault. There's a little imprecision of the legs in flight. It's only a tenth or so in terms of his landing adjustment. 14.15, he's up from qualification by 500ths. This was the slightly better vault in the preliminary round. It should be double twisting Yurchenko, based on what we saw in qualification and in the warm-up here. The only Yurchenko entry vault that we're going to see in this final. Yes, indeed. Well done, that young man. Well done, Demdendorje Tushan. Yes. Very good work. No Mongolian has ever won a senior medal in a worldwide artistic gymnastics competition. Ganbatian Erdenebold won the Youth Olympic title in 2010 at the inaugural Games. Mongolia's only full international success has come in aerobic gymnastics, and they have been working quietly all season to try to get onto the podium. It's a quiet smile. He's in third place with 1 to go. Demdendorje Tushan. Now he's got the longest wait of his career. 14.2 is the score to beat. Pau Jimenez has got the difficulty to surpass Demdendorje. We anticipate that he should have about 8/10 of difficulty advantage over Demdendorje, but he was the 6th best qualifier because the first vault was a struggle in the preliminary round. He did not land his roche securely. If he lands it, then he's in play. And he is in play. He's very much in play. Pau Jimenez, the 20-year-old from Catalonia. Is this going to be the vault that moves him significantly up the leaderboard compared to qualifying? That's a nice looking roche, no real issues with it. Very slightly over perhaps, but only slightly, leading to that shuffle forwards. It'll be way beyond 13.25, which was the qualifying score, way beyond it. There we go, full mark improvement, 14.25. He is now absolutely on course because 14.2 is the average score that he needs to beat. And this was the vault that was the best executed of the entire qualification campaign from any gymnast. 9.4 for his 1.5 twisting Kasamatsu. He's got the chance to get onto the podium. Lovely, lovely, lovely vaulting. That will, regrettably for Demdendorje, probably see him once again finish 4th. Pau Jimenez with a delightful display. I said at the start of the final that there were gymnasts here who could really move up based on the execution scores from qualification, and this might be another big mover. And the other huge one is Ramel Robinson-Bailey, who is guaranteed a medal. The question is, what colour will it be? Because 14.25 is his score. The suspicion might be that Jimenez will surpass that. Might even win it. Yes, he's got the gold. 14.4, the average score. 14.55 for the Kasamatsu 1.5. And it is a great moment for Pau Jimenez, his first ever World Challenge Cup title. The classified results in the men's vault competition: bronze to Ramel Robinson-Bailey of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, silver won by the Dominican Republic's Aldrisnin Reyes, and Pau Jimenez moves from the 6th best in qualification to the champion in Koper. Commiserations to Demdendorje Tushan of Mongolia, finishing 4th by 5/100ths.
Award ceremony, men's vault. Medali priznanja bodo podelili Sašo Betoncelj, član izvršnega odbora Mednarodnega komiteja Sredozemskih iger.
Well, how nice that Sacha Bertoncelj is one part of the presentation party, the 3-time European Championship pommel horse medalist for Slovenia.
Mr. Sašo Bertoncelj, member of Executive Committee of International Committee of Mediterranean Games. Julio Marcos Felipe, technical delegate from FIG, and Enis Hodges, the chief of the judges of this competition. Tretje mesto, 3rd place, Ramel Robinson-Bailey, Great Britain.
Ramel Robinson-Bailey of Great Britain bronze medalist. Very good final from the 21-year-old from the West Midlands. First time that we've seen him on a World Cup podium, and with that quality of vaulting, we may see it again. Aldrisnin Reyes of the Dominican Republic, the silver medalist. The gentleman who is now going to focus his attentions on refining the routines to get ready for Paris. And Pau Jimenez of Spain, for the first time ever, a World Cup champion. And that's a great accomplishment, considering the fact that he was the 6th best performer in qualification. Lovely that we've got the 7th and 6th best gymnasts in qualification on the podium here.
To sú ľudí, ktorí najboljší pri moških na preskoku i po bomo nadaljevanju spremljali finale nagradi.
The medalists in the men's vault competition in Koper at the World Challenge Cup.
Na druge mesto je bila Diana Lovok, Ukrajina 13.300, tudi Nicolo Mozzato, Italia.
The men's parallel bars final. Ilya Hogben, unsurprisingly, the top performer in qualification with a score of 14.9. 3/4 of a mark higher than Andrei Muntean of Romania. Hogben will go second in the order, Muntean 6th. Zhuang Xiaolong of Chinese Taipei. 19-year-old will get the parallel bars final started. He was the 7th best in qualification with a score of 13.75. This is the young man who won the World Schools title on this apparatus in Rouen in France in 2022. Nice handstand position with good toe point. Just a little flicker of strength to hold that. Tiniest of overarches, but it didn't last long at all. That's lovely. Very nice execution. There will be much higher difficulty to come, but from a young man seeking to impose himself on the national team and on finals at international level, that shows promise. He's competed at a handful of World Cup events, yet to go to the World Championships, but he did go to the Continental Championships in Uzbekistan recently. The mechanics, the basics of his work, although he was perhaps a little shy of being in the handstand position there, they are good. They're secure. There wasn't much where he didn't look in full control. Again, was a tiny overbalance, but it really was a split-second thing. His pike position is quite crisp looking. .55 the execution score in qualifying. Tough task to match that in a final. 13.15, so he is down a little in execution. 6/10 lost for the small things here and there that I was mentioning throughout the routine. The adjustment on the landing also will have contributed. 5.2 difficulty. This gentleman had a 6.9 difficulty in qualification. Well, he didn't have a bad day yesterday. Gold on the floor and the pommel horse and silver on the rings. Ilya Kovtun of Ukraine, now the owner of 40 World Cup medals, 24 of them gold. By the end of the day today, he could be only 8 away from 50. All those extra little entrance and exits to the skills that bolster his difficulty. Does have to reset his single rail work, but holds the handstand. It's only a small adjustment. His heels have been well pressed together throughout. Diamidov skills contribute a lot to his difficulty. And he comes out of the double front tuck well. Ilya Kovtun had only 8 for execution in qualification. Absolutely capable of big scores in the 15s. He hit 14.9 in the preliminary round. Everything's precise with him, even the way he places his footwear. He had that momentary reset on the single rail. Angle nicely judged in the front double tuck somersault. .35, so much better than qualification, and he's gained an extra 10th of difficulty for a 7. Well, it's going to be extremely hard, if not impossible, for anyone to take the title now other than him. Wonderful from Kovtun. Niccolo Mozzato of Italy, 24, from the beautiful city of Venice. He's been a World Cup medalist on the parallel bars. Won bronze in Cairo last year. He's had such a rotten time of things over the last couple of years. He broke both of his legs at a World Cup competition in 2022. That was after he got lost in the air during one of his vaults. Totally lost his bearings completely, had a horrible landing. And unfortunately, he's clipped the apparatus there and comes off. Wasn't really set right, that's a shame. Almost felt a little forced going into that skill because he wasn't really fully into handstand. The midsection was bent. Did his best. Nice tippelt. And he concludes well. A nice twisting manoeuvre in the tuck position. That was quite solid in terms of its landing. Regrettable that he had those difficulties towards the beginning of the routine. But as I mentioned earlier, sometimes you look at an athlete and you have to treat simply their re-emergence on the international scene as a triumph. He's an incredibly positive and resilient individual. I mean, yes, that's a setback, but my goodness, it's nothing compared to the setback he overcame after that injury. The Italian men's squad has got a problem in terms of its depth. It's a great problem to have, but it isn't easy to put together a team that doesn't leave out some very fine gymnasts. 12.6 for Mozzato. It is way down from qualification by over a mark and a half. Kacper Gancharek of Poland, the 8th best in qualification. He's 21 from the lovely city of Katowice. But much of his time spent in Pennsylvania, where he is an undergraduate in business studies at Penn State. And he's had lots of career high scores this season. He finished 8th on this apparatus at the Big Ten Championships in April. Made the finals at the NCAA, or the Collegiate Championships, a couple of weeks later. They aren't exactly short of quality gymnasts at Penn State. He's promising, isn't he, the young man from Katowice? Nicely performed. He's got good extension. Sometimes things like the positions of some of his skill moves, for example, as he works into the manner position, those will get tighter and more crisp as he goes on. smoothness of his angles, the tightness of his angles, they will develop. Occasionally he was a little off axis here and there, but these are small things. For the most part, heels well together. Toes pointed. All on the right sort of lines. That manner position at the end was very tight. Managed to get the shins towards the forehead. .45. So he's in second place, Kacper Gancharek. Look forward to seeing more of him internationally. Kovtun leads. We still have to come the second best qualifier, Andre Muntian. Muntian going through his warm-ups at the moment. Last warm-up in progress. Hong Yuan-Xi of Chinese Taipei. On with the competition. 4 to go in the parallel bars final. Krzysztof Mezanos of Hungary, 5th best in qualification. with a score of 14.05. That would go into second place if he can replicate it now. It was a week ago that he won a bronze medal on this event at the World Challenge Cup in Bulgaria. Not so long ago, just a couple of months ago, he won a bronze medal on floor at the European Championships to add to his growing collection of European Championship honours. He's always a smooth-looking gymnast. Controls his single rail work well. Oh, unfortunately, problems with the tip belt. And having to sit it down will carry a lot of deductions. Does do that front straddle somersault well. Had moments of characteristic clarity and smoothness, that performance from Christopher Mészáros, but regrettably his unexpected issue with the tip belt, which is a skill that he would probably perform 9 out of 10 times, or even 99 out of 100 with no problems, will make things a bit tricky for him in the scoreboard department.
Drugi je bil v kvalifikacijah za ceno 14.250, 5,4 točke pa izhodiščna ocena njegove sestave.
The clatter of the left leg on the bar. .95. Christopher Mészáros over a mark down from qualification. Now to the second best performer in the preliminary round. This is Andrei Muntean. The Romanian scored 14.25. Winner of 10 World Cup medals, most recently a bronze on this apparatus in Antalya in Turkey a few months ago. Graduate of sports physiology and waiting to take to the field of play at the Olympic Games, having qualified at his 7th World Championships. Certainly somebody who's capable and would be expecting to push for a medal here. Very controlled on the one rail. Leg form secure. Nice travel on his babsar. That was performed with good amplitude. Smooth tip belt. Well, there's no doubt at all that goes into medal contention. Andrei Muntean well positioned with 2 to go, certainly. When one considers that 13.45 is currently the bronze medal mark. Correct myself, it's the silver medal mark.
14,110 točki, izhodišna ocena njegove sestave pa 5,70.
Muntian's difficulty score in qualification was 5.4. So a mark and a half down from Ilya Kovtun's difficulty score. We've just seen that Kovtun has raised his by 1/10. Now over to Muntian to see what the numbers look like. Gentleman from Sibiu in Transylvania, in the centre of the country. Beautiful part of Europe. He said he feels that he's going to the Olympics in a state of peace, that he has nothing to lose, will just go and do pressure-free routines. 14.45. That will put him into second place with 2 gymnasts remaining. So it is Kovtun, then Muntian, then Gancharek. Both of these 2 gymnasts have the capacity to get onto the podium. Leo Saladino of France, 14.1 in qualifying. Silver medalist on the parallel bars at last year's national championships. Didn't have an easy time on vault at the start of the day. Lovely fluidity going up into handstand. Just lacking the right angle there, perhaps. Not that time, that was better. Diamedov. Slight lack of control, but he's got it back. And he's really hit that dismount. Nice finish from Leo Saladino of France. And now from Grasse in the southeast of the country. Quietly determined young man. He's just recently competed at his 4th European Championships, where he was in the top 5 in the floor final. That's where he looked a little lacking in full control. There were moments like that here and there. Difficulty-wise, one of the more complicated efforts that we've seen. And one of the best dismounts we've seen too. As a result, he's into the bronze medal position, 14.2, an 8.5 for execution from Saladino. So that means the young man based in the USA, Kacper Gancharek, moves into 4th place. So 14.2 is the medal mark, and one more gymnast will try to combat it. He didn't get too far from it in qualification with 13.85, so it's possible. Hogben from Chinese Taipei. 13.85 in the preliminary round, the 6th best. Silver medalist on the parallel bars at the World Cup in Doha not too long ago. He is an undergraduate in international business at the Taipei University. Competed at the Olympic Games in Tokyo. Nice rapid movement up into handstand, very fluid. He's showing a lot of control so far. That was crisp. Great move into the 90-degree position, then back working in line with the apparatus. This could be a lot better than his execution score in qualification if he can maintain it. His handstands are lovely and steady. Gets through his bavzar. It's a nice movement through the tip-elt with good toe point demonstrated. Can he land this well? Yes, he can, but he does have a hop backwards. Well. Really well performed that from Hogben of Chinese Taipei. It might come down to that landing position and that backwards hop. He did have a little more difficulty than Saladino in qualification. It was, for the most part, quite a poised performance. A little leg separation there, perhaps.
Italia, Veronica Mandreotta Italia, Kari Engel Afrička Republika, Hildur Maja Gudmundsdottir Islandia, Diana Lovok Ukrajina, Yichun Diao Taipei i Lena Bicker Švica. Gymnasts can start warming up.
As he lands, he's leaning backwards slightly, necessitating that hop backwards. What's the number going to be? 14.2 required for a place on the podium, or in excess of it. And he has easily got it, 14.9. The difficulty has flown up by 0.6 from qualification. Brilliant performance. Andre Muntian, winner of the bronze medal. Hogben of Chinese Taipei taking silver, and Ilya Kovtun of Ukraine winning the gold medal, but actually not a huge margin between him and Hung. The victory ceremony for the men's parallel bars competition at the World Challenge Cup in Koper, Slovenia.
Award ceremony parallel bars. Medalje in priznanja bodo podelili Sašo Bertoncel, član izvršnega odbora mediteranskih iger, Julio Marcos Felipe, delegat Svetovne gimnastične federacije, ter Tomaš Leskovar, direktor našega zlatega
Always a nice moment for the presentation party to get to enjoy these celebrations with the athletes.
Member of the Executive Committee of International Committee of Mediterranean Games, Julio Marcos Felipe, technical delegate of FIG, and Tomaš Leskovar, the director of gold sponsor Imagine. Tretje mesto, third place, Andrei Vasile Muntean, Romania.
The bronze medal won by Andrei Muntean of Romania, a gentleman who is in his final stages of preparation for the Olympic Games, having been a youth Olympic medalist at the inaugural Games in Singapore. Hong Yuan-si of Chinese Taipei producing a super performance at the conclusion of the parallel bars final to significantly improve his score from qualification and to get onto the podium over a marked difference. Ilya Kovtun of Ukraine narrowly winning this, but winning it nonetheless, the only 15+ score. The gymnast who won the World Cup title overall on the parallel bars last season. And we'll hear the national anthem of Ukraine.
To so bili torej najboljši nagradi in bomo v nadaljevanju spremljali
The medalists in the parallel bars competition.
dekleti na parterju na 15 točk, 36 je bila.
The men's horizontal bar competition, and the top performer in qualification, without any great surprise, Tang Xiaheng of Chinese Taipei with a score of 15 exactly. He will go 5th in the order. But just behind him, by 500ths, was Carlo Macchini, Bistecca, as he's known, the Italian. He'll go second to last. We start with Ilya Kovtun. We begin with the reigning champion of Europe as of a couple of months ago. He's been going about adding difficulty hugely successfully to his work across the board to make himself even more competitive as an all-around athlete, and in doing so he won the European title. Ilya Kovtun, 14.2 in qualification, but with a low execution score and a high difficulty. Cassina, a little wild in the leg form at the end. Likewise with the Coleman, but he's got lots of power. Oh, and then the straight Kadchev. He comes off. How unexpected. Performed the Casino and the Coleman well. Performs the straight Kachev again to get the difficulty and to link it with the straddle and pike variations. Really important for his D score that he repeated that skill. It also has impacts on the bonuses later on, and he lands well, nearly. The Olympiad, the real focus for Kovtun, refining the little details here and there. Let's have a look back at the crucial moments from this performance. There's the Casino. And there he goes into the Coleman. And then it was the Kachev where he came off. The bar was certainly reverberating as he went back in for the regrasp. Then performed it again to go from straight to straddle to piked in the three Kachev sequence. .55, so all in all he was in line to go beyond qualification, where he scored 14.2. And obviously the loss of the full mark costly. Unai Baigorri, super young Spanish gymnast who got a bronze medal on the floor yesterday. 8th best in qualifying, 13.55. But with one of the best executed routines, there's a surprise. Such a smooth gymnast. Very smooth stolder work. And unfortunately he was drifting going into that straddle Kachev out of the stolder. So Kachev issues early on for the gymnasts in this horizontal bar final in Koper. Good hip height on the straddle Kachev. And a solid looking dismount. Work in progress, no question. Hugely promising, absolutely clear. That move to the high performance centre in Madrid has been enormous for Unai Baigorri. He's been there for getting on for 2 years now. No criticism or disrespect to where he was training before. It's just simply that his training time has increased exponentially. He said it was about triple the work he was doing before, and as a result he's been able to grow hugely. And invariably that is what you want when gymnasts move to a high performance environment. You want to see that the best work of the local clubs is preserved. They've set everything up, and then the high performance centre needs to take it forward. Clearly that's happening with this young man. 12.25 on this occasion, part of the learning experience. We'll see him a lot more, that's clear. Lovely to get to see this young athlete from Ukraine, Radomir Stelmak, on the crest of a wave after being part of the team that won gold in the men's competition in the European Championships. And he was a really important part of it as well. How lovely, 4 years on from being part of the Ukrainian team that won the junior European Championship title. He was the bronze medalist on the horizontal bar at last year's national championships in his first senior year. That's just about enough height on the straight Kachev. Lovely straddle Kachev, traditional Kachev. Smooth rotation of the glenohumeral joint. Nicely done from Radomir Stelmak. We spent quite a lot of time training in Croatia.
Dober vrhunski gimnastičar mu pripravil orodje za njegovo izredno težko sestavo. Tin je bil tretji v kvalifikacijah z oceno 14.450, izhodiščna ocena njegove sestave.
Second Kachev was particularly striking, good amplitude. He also had some very nice close work to the apparatus, all of these rolls of the body. They were extremely controlled. And yes, one invariably focuses on the big releases and regrasps when watching horizontal bar gymnastics, but actually it's the close control where so much difficulty is won and lost. Another young man who has the potential to be a really important part of the next generation for Ukraine, and indeed of the present. 13.9, he goes into the gold medal position. We have got some big performers to come. How about the runner-up at the last Olympic Games, for example? Tin Srbic of Croatia going in search of his 20th World Cup medal. One thing he has successfully gone in search of is an Olympic medal. Won the silver in Tokyo. He's also been a European and world champion. Third best in qualification, 14.45. He's always somebody who knows how to step up when he gets to a final, though, and add in that crucial extra difficulty. A little wild on the pirouettes in terms of the control of the legs. Stolder into a straight Kachev, and then into a straddle Kachev connected to the straight variation. This is where he now goes for the Coleman late on in the routine and performed well with a good pirouette afterwards. And his dismount has an effortless quality to it. No wonder he's pleased about that one. Tincerbic of Zagreb.
Fantastični predstavi, izredno težke prvine, malo na nevestoje, ki imamo svoje spuste. Raznovrstna sestava, prilepuje se skoki najreči. Hvala ti za to predstavo. Gymnast can start warming up.
This gentleman, who is an absolutely huge fan of association football, supports Dinamo Zagreb, just about has gymnastics as the most important thing in his life, other than watching Dinamo Zagreb matches and following them. They've just won the Croatian League, so he's been in pretty good spirits over the last little while, and this, from a personal point of view, will only add to that. He finished really well. Graceful landing. .14.45 in qualification. Calculations continuing for Tincerbic's routine. We've got 4 still to come, including really the form gymnast of the year on horizontal bar, Tang Chia-hung. This is the most pronounced wait that we've had for a score so far, but it was absolutely worth it. 14.95. He has gained 9/10 of difficulty. I did say to you earlier that Tincerbic is one of those gymnasts who knows how to step it up when he gets into a final. His record of getting into finals and converting that into medal-winning positions is enormously efficient. He seldom misses out. He's one of those gymnasts who he may miss out on the final itself every now and then, but if he gets into the final, it is highly unusual that he doesn't take something. And what we witnessed there was a really great example of how to construct high quality difficulty. to the King of Cats. Tang Chia-hung, 15 in qualification. He's just seen a 14.95 from Tin Terbic. This gentleman's form in Olympic qualification was phenomenal. 3 gold medals, easily earning his place at the Games. Now he just has to maintain that form, and he'll go in as one of the favourites, if not the favourite. Beautiful. Full twist. Then the straight Kachev, straddle Kachev. Casina, that was very smooth. That's the full twisting Yamawaki. Oh, it's lovely. Goodness me, that was breathtaking. Stunning flight from Tang Chia-hung, and such a graceful landing too. As mentioned earlier and demonstrated there, his form this season has been brilliant. Form in all senses of the word. His performances across the World Cups, but also his form gymnastically, his precision. He is a delight to watch. He's been a champion at the Asian Games, at the World University Games, at the Asian Championships, and at World Cup level. But he has set himself up to be at the heart of the discussion when it comes to the Olympiad. Beautiful, oh, the flourish, like a trampoline gymnast, the way he kicked out his body. Majestic. How big a number? How big a difficulty score? 15 in qualification. Oh yes, 15.4. And he's got 5 additional tenths of difficulty. It was obviously going to lead, it was just a question by how much. Tang Chia-hung, what a setup for the Olympiad. He's done everything that he possibly can.
Fenomenalno finale na drogu spremljamo in čakajo nas še 3 nastopi.
Alexander Myakinin of Israel, 5th best in qualification. It's not the easiest job in the world following that. But this experienced gymnast has been a medalist at the European Championships. Goodness, he got some amplitude in the Casina. Oh, there's power here. And Coleman had real height too. Nice pike position in the Kachev, really got the body jackknifed. Wasn't that good? Alexander Myakinin of Israel always seemed in full control despite a huge amount of power.
tukaj v Kopru, kjer nas čakata še dve sestavi. Naslednji bo nastopil Hogben, drugi v kvalifikacijah z oceno 14,950, izhodiščna ocena njegove sestave pa kar 56, kar pomeni, da tudi on lahko pomeša vrstni red na stopničkah.
He just recently competed at his 7th European Championships, where he was 5th, both with the team and in the horizontal bar final. One of the most impressive things was the amplitude that Mäkinen got in this routine, and yet he kept his angles right to ensure good firm re-grasp of the apparatus. There, for example, he was so in line.
Kot smo dejali, bil peti v kvalifikacijah, zaenkrat mu kaže vsaj na izenačenje kvalifikacijskega dosežka, če ne še na izboljšavo.
Very good, 14.5, bronze medal position. Very good final, this. Now we have one of the great entertainers in horizontal bar gymnastics. It is Bisteca Carlo Mäkinen, the Italian gymnast who won the silver medal at last year's European Championships. He was the second best in qualification with 14.95. Here he goes into the Pagan. And the Casino. And the Coleman. You are guaranteed excitement every time you watch this gentleman. Absolutely guaranteed it. He's just so thrilling. Well, let's have a look back at this performance. That is wonderful, isn't it? Going into the double tuck position. Only one of those skills that we've seen in the whole final.
Sedmi je bil v kvalifikacijah z oceno 13,600, izhodiščna ocena njegove sestave pa je bila 5,30.
And we should note as well, as we look back at this performance, that opening skill, the Pagan, named after a Slovenian great, Aljaž Pagan, the world champion in 2005. Carlo Mäkinen goes into third place, 14.7. So, the top three with one to go. Yes, Tojšibek, well done to him on a silver medal on the pommel horse. Won yesterday. The 23-year-old. Scored 13.6 in qualification. He doesn't have huge difficulty, but he performed his routine well. That was a little lacking in crispness, shall we say, but he did well to hold it. Oh, nearly. Just had a crumpled landing and couldn't hold it. Good effort. You know, he's had a very good weekend. Diaz Tojšibek, the silver medalist on the pommel horse. One of so many gymnasts who worked with ferocity to try to get an Olympic qualification spot. He's kept his head high the whole time. He's really worked diligently. Good young generation coming through in Kazakhstan. They're going to be very ambitious going into the next 4 years. They're going to be aiming to become regular team medalists at the Asian Championships. They're going to be aiming to make World Championship finals as a team, not just as individuals here and there. .65, so no change to the podium. It means that Tang Chia-hung has won the gold medal. Very entertaining horizontal bar final that was too, as the pathway to Paris gets closer and closer. The classified results in the horizontal bar competition: bronze for Carlo Macchini of Italy, silver for Croatia's Tin Srbic, and the gold medal won by Tang Chia-hung of Chinese Taipei. As I was talking about earlier, the challenge for the Italian selectors is actually putting a team together, because you've got some very good all-arounders. You've also got great specialists like him.
Mediteranskih iger, Julio Markus Filipe, tehnični delegat Svetovne gimnastične federacije, ter Enis Hodžić-Lederer, vodja sodnikov pri moški gimnastiki. The medals will be awarded by the Mr. Sašo Bertoncel, member of Executive Committee of International Committee of Mediterranean Games, Julio Marcos Filipe, technical delegate from FIG, and Enis Hodžić-Lederer, chief of the judges. Tretje mesto, third place, Carlo Macchini, Italia.
The bronze medal goes to Beefsteak himself, Carlo Macchini of Italy. And that now completes a full set of colours for him at the World Cup level.
Second place, Tin Srbic, Hrvatska.
Tin Srbic of Croatia, winner of the silver medal with much improved difficulty from qualification. His second silver medal in a short space of time in World Challenge Cup competition. The gold medal won by Tang Chia-hung of Chinese Taipei, and he has got a corking new routine in terms of the difficulty. 6.8 in this final. We'll hear the anthem of Chinese Taipei.
To so bili najuspešnejši v današnjih finalih na krogu. S tem
The medalists in the men's horizontal bar competition in Koper.
v moški in ženski športni gimnastiki tukaj v Sloveniji.